If I were to die tomorrow, I would probably die thinking of myself as a gigantic failure. This week I worked on something really hard. I put so much of myself into it and it bombed really badly. Not the first time, it will not be the last, and I'm not here today to get sympathy from you. It's okay, I'm okay. But I let it get to me. That's not what this video is about. It just got me thinking about why and how. Why do we do this to ourselves? We release our creative output into the world, and then we get way down on ourselves when we don't get the reaction that we're looking for. And how we can feel better about it all instead of feeling like a failure. And I figured out that not only can we do that, we can also be more productive and more successful. And the answer lies in the creative process itself. So let's start by taking a closer look at the problem. Being a creative is, in my estimation and experience, more of a sickness than anything else. I have to make things. I have to create them. And if you're watching this, it's pretty likely that to some degree you are the same. You're probably a musician, an artist of some kind, a creative person. And it's hard. It's so hard because we are wired differently. Our brains aren't satisfied with the status quo, with the basic version of anything. We look at things that exist and we think, what's next? And then we grind our asses to the bone to make it exist. That's the reason that I write songs, because I hear the songs that exist, I love so many of them, but there's something missing. I have to create the thing that I want to see in the world. And that might seem like a really great thing, and in a lot of ways, it's a superpower, but the hard part is that our priorities as creatives are largely incompatible with that of the world. Like, I care way more about making art, making music, than I do about taking care of myself. All the basic life things that are very important aren't really important to me. It means that I'm very focused on and therefore better at the thing that I care about, that I'm trying to do. That also means that because I care about it so much, when it doesn't go well, it feels really bad, and it feels like the world at large is rejecting me. But there are two elements at play here that we have to consider. Our personal satisfaction with the thing that we've created, how we feel about how it turned out, and then there is how it is received by whoever experienced it. Whether or not it hit certain metrics that you were hoping for, or whatever. And the problem with how we perceive this part of it is that there's absolutely no objective measurement for this at all. And if there was, all you're really doing is competing. And although you might say like, oh, but this personal satisfaction as to whether or not you like the thing, that's all that really matters. Who cares what anybody else thinks? I am 100% certain that you do, and I know that I do too. You know perfectly well that you care what other people think, because if you didn't, you would never release anything. But I also know that you didn't release it just to boost your ego. That's not why we put things out into the world. We as artists and creatives put things out into the world for a couple of reasons. The first one is to connect with other people. When you create art, you communicate something, you communicate a part of yourself. And when you put it out there, you're looking for people to connect with. If you write a song about a certain topic and somebody hears it and they go, yes, I feel that so hard, then you created a connection across space and time. So that's why when you put something out and you don't get the reaction that you were hoping for, that it feels like a rejection. And that makes the whole thing feel like a gigantic failure. When in reality, what we did is create something out of nothing. We made something that did not exist. In order to answer this question, we have to examine our own standards for success and figure out where they come from and why. And you need to ask yourself, honestly, what is it that you are trying to achieve? What is it that will determine success or failure of this launch, and why? Is it sheer numbers? Is it the way that it's received? Is it critical acclaim? Are you just trying to get laid or get paid? Both of which I want you to consider to be completely valid reasons to make something. No judgment from me. I've come to realize that I have incredibly high standards for myself. Standards that can never possibly be met. And I don't actually really know what they are, only that I'm perpetually failing them. I don't know what the number is that I have to hit to be happy. Is there a committee that meets that determines the number that I have to hit in order for my brain to release the serotonin that I need to be happy? The answer is obviously no. It is a committee of one, and you're looking at them. It's me. I'm the committee. And guess who's on your committee? You are. So let's say hypothetically that I know what this is. I figured it out. I've got the metric for success. If I hit that or miss, it's gonna change. If I exceed it by a lot, or if I way undershoot, it's gonna change no matter what. I know tons and tons of people who do my job, YouTubers, creators, at all kinds of different levels. They all feel the same way. It's never enough. I will never feel like it's enough, and you probably won't either. And the reason for that is that being a creative, by definition, means that we're never satisfied. Because if we could be satisfied with things, we'd have no reason to change them. And that's what we're doing. Creation is change. It's an impossible, constantly moving target. The drug of success is the rarest drug in the world. You cannot buy it. You can't inject it. There's only one way to get it. Think about what happens when you actually reach a goal that you've set for yourself. You feel good for a while, and then you plateau. You grow and improve in order to reach that goal, but achieving the goal actually kinda sucks. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't aspire to succeed and have goals. That's incredibly important. But you have to know that every goal, every single one, is just the next one. And that even failing to hit the goal is a step towards the goal. So what we're gonna do to beat this as artists and creatives is to change the goal. This goal is constant and unmoving. The new goal that is constant improvement. As long as this is your goal, you actually cannot lose, because you are always going to get better, every time. Even if you fail, especially if you fail. Your heroes and people who are great at what they do are willing to fail over and over and over again, because the only goal is constant growth. If your goal is constantly improving, the kind of success that you're looking for is going to be a symptom of that. If you don't look back on something that you made 5 years ago and cringe, then you are absolutely not growing enough. The other aspect that's going to keep us from being miserable as creatives is the process. Really, what I actually love about what I do is the process. Creating music, creating videos. The reason that I was so bummed about this video bombing is because I put so much into it. And the reason that I worked on it so hard was because I loved doing it and adding all the little things, all the little dumb jokes. I loved every second of it. I spent 3 straight days on the edit, and by the time it was done, I was like, this is it, this is my masterpiece. And it's okay that it bombed, because you can't take away the enjoyment of the process from me. It's the only thing that is consistent and dependable. We can always come back to the process. Remember earlier I was saying that success is a drug and it's incredibly rare, very difficult to get, and does not last very long? The process is also a drug but it's the complete opposite of that in every single way. It's incredibly dependable, it's easy to get, you can do it all the time. I'm creating things when I'm not even at home in front of my computer with an instrument in my hand, anything like that. I am constantly in the creative process. I'm high all the time. And that also makes the goal of constantly improving not just possible, but also a guarantee. Because if you're just always in the creative process, you are always improving. If your goal or standard for success is something like becoming the next Metallica or Ed Sheeran or Van Gogh, then that's something that you could very easily fail on a daily basis and feel bad about. But if your goal is just constant improvement and to just be in the creative process as much as possible, then these other goals, these other more lofty, like worldly success goals, can actually start to happen as a result. A successful person is someone who becomes great at what they do, not someone who does great things. Doing great things and creating great things is a symptom of being great at something, which is gonna happen when you focus on the primary goal of improving at it, which will become not just possible, but easy and enjoyable when you focus on enjoying the process of it. If you really love doing it, you're gonna do it more, which means you're gonna improve, which means you're gonna stick with it for life, and with time, you'll become great at it. And then you will do great things, and then you will be a successful person. So if you're feeling down about your creative output, like I was this week, the cure is in the creative process. You can't always live there. You still need to package your creations up and ship them out for people to enjoy. But it's always there waiting, no matter how well or badly your last release went.